My mother-in-law made me tea every morning for the first 3 months of my pregnancy. She said it was the same herbs her own mother gave her, the herbs that had brought 8 strong children into our family. Drank the first cup, I drank the second. And then I noticed something only a woman raised by a herbalist would notice. The third morning, I was pretending, and I had 3 months to find out what she was really putting in my cup. My mother-in-law made me tea every morning for the first 3 months of my pregnancy. She brought it in a clay cup, dark and steaming, on a small wooden tray. She said it was the same herbs her own mother gave her, the herbs that had brought 8 strong children into their family. I drank the first cup. I drank the second. And then I noticed something only a woman raised by a herbalist would notice. By the third morning, I was pretending. I poured the tea into the plant beside my chair and smiled like a good wife. I had 3 months to find out what she was really putting in my cup. Let me tell you my story. My name is Nneka. I met my husband Tunde at a wedding in Ikeja. He was not the loudest man there. He was calm. He helped an old woman carry her cooler without being asked. That was what caught me. Later, he came to my table and asked if I wanted more malt. I laughed because he sounded shy. For 2 years, he loved me in small, steady ways. He called when he said he would. He sent money for my younger brother's school books without making noise about it. When he proposed, I cried into his white agbada and ruined it with my makeup. His mother, Madam Folake, welcomed me with both hands. She was a respected widow from Ondo. She wore lace like a queen and spoke softly, but everyone listened. At our introduction, she held my chin and said, "You will give this family peace." I believed her. After the wedding, Tunde and I moved into our apartment in Lekki. Life was simple. We worked, prayed, cooked, and saved. The only issue was his family compound. Every Sunday, after church, we had to eat there. Madame Folake watched everything. How I greeted, how I served soup, how long I kept Tunde's hand in mine. Still, I told myself it was normal. Nigerian mothers love hard. Then I got pregnant. Tunde lifted me and spun me until I begged him to stop. He kissed my forehead and said our home was complete. His mother cried when we told her. Real tears ran down her face. She touched my belly, though it was still flat, and called the child her crown. That same week, she moved into our guest room. She said first pregnancies were delicate. She said modern girls did not know old ways. Tunde agreed before I could answer. "Mommy will help us," he said. At first, she did help. She cooked pepper soup. She washed baby clothes people had already started buying. She rubbed shea butter on my feet when they hurt. But every morning at 6, she came with that tea. The smell filled the kitchen before she entered. Bitter leaf, ginger, cloves, and something else. Something sharp under the sweetness. My grandmother had been a herbalist in Nsuka. As a child, I sorted leaves on her mat. I knew scent the way some people know music. The first morning, I drank it because I trusted the room. The second morning, I drank half. My stomach cramped before noon. Madam Folake said, "It is cleaning your womb, but a womb is not a dirty pot." The third morning, I held the cup and let the steam touch my face. I smelled it again. There was Uda, a little scent leaf, and a root my grandmother had warned women about. Too much could bring bleeding. My hand went cold. Madame Folak stood in front of me, smiling. "Drink it while it is hot, my daughter." I looked at Tunde. He was tying his tie, eyes on his phone. "Drink, babe," he said. Mommy knows these things, so I lifted the cup. I touched it to my lips. Then, when they left the kitchen, I poured it into the potted palm. That was how my secret started. Every morning, I pretended. Every morning, the plant grew weaker. Its leaves curled brown at the edges. I took pictures. I dated them. I bought small bottles and kept samples behind old beans in the store. I called my cousin Amara, who worked in a lab in Yaba. I told her not to ask questions yet. She tested the first sample and went quiet on the phone. "Nneka, where did you get this?" she asked. "From my kitchen," I said. She told me it had strong herbs that could cause contractions. Not a guaranteed disaster, but dangerous. Very dangerous. I sat on the bathroom floor and held my belly. My baby kicked for the first time that night, soft like a secret knock. I did not sleep. I wanted to confront Madame Folek then. I wanted to throw the cup at the wall, but anger without proof can become gossip. In that family, I was still the outsider, so I watched. Madame Folek locked one small cupboard in the pantry. She received brown paper parcels from a woman at the market. She stopped talking when I entered rooms, and Tunde changed. He began asking if I had stomach pain, not with concern, with fear. One night, I woke and found him in the sitting room, whispering. His back was to me. "Mummy, please reduce it," he said. "She is not weak like you think." Blood turned to ice. I stepped back before the floor could creak. The worst part did not land at once. It came in pieces. A bank alert on his phone from his mother. A message from his uncle saying, "If the child is a girl, the land matter will scatter." A voice note from Madame Folak to Tunde that he forgot to delete. I played it while he was in the shower. Her voice was calm. "Your father's will is clear. First grandson takes the old compound title. If she gives you a girl first, your brother's wife may win this house. We only need her body to rest this one. She can take in again. Do not be soft." I dropped the phone on the bed. My knees almost failed. Rest this one? That was what they called my child. Not a baby. Not blood. A problem to manage. Tunde came out with a towel around his waist and saw my face. For 1 second, he knew I knew. Then he smiled badly. "What is it?" he asked. I said nothing. That silence saved me. I went to my doctor the next day alone. I told her everything. She checked me and warned me to avoid all unknown herbs. She helped me make a report. Amara sent the lab results. I opened a new email and saved every photo, every message, every recording. Then I called a lawyer my office used for contracts. Her name was Mrs. Salami. She listened without shaking her head. She said, "Do not confront them alone, and do not drink anything in that house again." For the next 2 weeks, I became sweet. Too sweet. I praised the tea. I let Madame Folek think I was tired and slow. Tunde relaxed. He even rubbed my belly again. That touch hurt more than a slap would have, because it reminded me of the man I had loved. Maybe he had loved me too, in his small way. But love that can stand beside poison is not love I can live inside. The confrontation came on a rainy Saturday. His family had gathered as the compound for his late father's remembrance. There was jollof rice, moin moin, meat, soft drinks, and women in bright gaily, moving like flowers. I wore a blue boo-boo and flat slippers. My hospital bag was already in my friend's car outside. My lawyer was nearby. My doctor's report was in my handbag. Madame Folak brought the tea in front of everyone. She wanted them to see her care. "Our wife must drink," she said, "for strength." The room smiled. Tunde looked at me, warning in his eyes. I took the cup. It was hot. The clay burned my fingers. Rain tapped the zinc roof over the back kitchen. No one spoke. I looked at the cup, then at her. Her face stayed soft, but her jaw was tight. I asked, "Mommy, what is inside?" She laughed. "Herbs." "Which herbs?" The room shifted. Someone cleared his throat. Tunde said, Nneka, not today. I turned to him. Yes, today. His eyes begged me to stop, not because he was sorry, but because people were watching. That was the moment my marriage ended. Not in court, not with shouting. It ended in his eyes, when his shame mattered more than my life. I placed the cup on the center table, slowly, carefully. Then, I brought out the papers. This is the lab result from the tea. This is my doctor's warning. These are pictures of the plant I poured it into. This is the voice note where Mommy said my baby should rest because of land. Madame Folake stood up so fast, her beads hit her chest. Lie, she said, but her voice cracked. I pressed play. Her own voice filled the room, clear, cold. If she gives you a girl first, your brother's wife may win this house. Nobody moved. Even the children stopped chewing. Tunde whispered, Nneka, please. I looked at him. Did you know? He opened his mouth, closed it. Rain grew louder. His brother stared at the floor. His uncle removed his cap. Madame Folake said, I was protecting my husband's name. I said, you were risking my child for property. She pointed at me. You do not understand family. My voice did not rise. I understand enough. A family that needs my baby to disappear is not my family. Tunde reached for my hand. I stepped back. That small step shook him. He said, I did not think it would go far. There it was, the line that ended everything. Not, I did not know. Not, I tried to stop her. He did not think it would go far. I nodded because my tears were too close. Then you thought about it, I said. You thought about my pain and still waited to see. The lawyer entered then with my friend Amara. I had asked them to wait until the recording played. Mrs. Salami spoke to the room. She said copies had been sent to the proper people. She said I was leaving for a safe place. She said any threat would be reported. Madame Folake sat down slowly, as if her bones had become old at once. Tunde followed me to the door. Outside, the rain smelled of wet sand and fried plantain from a nearby house. He was crying. I had never seen him cry like that. Please, Nneka, he said. Our baby needs both parents. I held my belly. Our baby needs truth first. Then I entered the car. I did not look back until the gate closed. After that day, the family went silent in public, but noise followed them in private. The compound land case froze. Tunde's brother refused to bring his wife there again. The market woman admitted Madame Folake had asked for strong womb herbs. Tunde sent messages for weeks. Sorry. Please. I was afraid of Mommy. I love you. I read them with my lawyer and did not answer. My daughter was born 2 months later, small but strong, with a cry that filled the hospital room like a trumpet. I named her Adaura, daughter of all. When I held her, I understood something. I had not only saved the pregnancy, I had saved the woman I was becoming. People ask if I will forgive them, maybe one day, in my heart, for my own peace. But forgiveness is not a key back into my house. Tunde sees his daughter through legal visits. Madame Folake has never held her. That is not revenge. That is a boundary. Sometimes, in the morning, I still make tea. Ginger, lemon, honey, nothing hidden. I sit by the window and watch the light touch my child's face. I think about that dying plant and how it warned me before any human did. I think about the cup I refused to drink, and I thank God for the quiet voice inside me that said, look again. Because betrayal can come dressed as care. It can call you daughter. It can serve you poison with 2 hands and a smile. But I learned to smile back, gather proof, and walk away alive.